What's going on, boys and girls? It's Caleb or Namirine back with another video, and today we are talking about probably one of the craziest chapters in One Piece history. Because after reading this chapter, all I have to say is Xebec is quite possibly the coldest motherfucker in One Piece. But before we go any further, please, for me, like and subscribe. I think at the time of recording this video, I'm at 98 subs, so just 2 more subscribers would mean the world to me. And also, this video will obviously contain spoilers for One Piece Chapter 1155. With that out of the way, let's get into this. The chapter begins with Loki and Zbec continuing their conversation from last chapter, where Zbec had 2 demands. Where is King Harold, and is this Elbaf? Well, in reverse order. And Loki, of course, tells him, yeah, this is Elbaf, but Pops isn't here, which makes a light bulb go off in Zebec's head. Like, wait, Pops? You're telling me your dad is King Harold? So he tells Loki to go back to the castle and say that he's been injured so that King Harold will come back. And Loki's not too fond of this idea. For one, he says that Harold won't come for him if he's injured, and 2, he's not taking orders from puny little humans. So here in Loki's mouth, Xebec gives him a real injury. And from here on out, this chapter is just absolutely batshit crazy, for a lack of better words. Starting it off, he captures 5 kings during the reverie. And mind you, at this point, I'm fairly certain that he's pretty much unknown by everyone. So the first crime he basically commits is pulling up to the reverie and kidnapping 5 kings. That's insane. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. He pulled up on fucking IMU. And he didn't just pull up on him for a nice chit-chat. Well, he kind of did. But he claimed that he was a Davy Jonesian pirate and that he will be back. Basically saying that he's going to usurp his throne. But before we go any further, we need to talk specifically more about this panel. First things first, we see Gunko in it. And Gunko is a very interesting character. You know, she has a past with Brook, as we all know now. At least somewhat. We don't know exactly what the past is, but we know that she has something to do with Brook. And this is just making it even weirder, because at this point, she seems to be like Imu's like right-hand girl or something like that. So this is a completely weird panel just for that alone. But the part that's really interesting about it is the Davy Jonesian pirate part. Because we've heard of Davy Jones pirates. There's going to be more about the Davy Jones stuff later on in the chapter. But him claiming to be a former or claim to be a Davy Jonesian pirate is interesting for one thing. The will of D. See, what I'm thinking, and what a lot of other people are also thinking online as well, is by him claiming to be a Davy Jonesian pirate, he's not saying that, yeah, he was a Davy Jonesian pirate out there, you know, swashbuckling the seas and whatever. But Davy Jonesian is, like, the original will of D, like that. The will of D is the will of Davy, and Xebec knows what the will of D is, so he's saying that he's a Davy Jonesian or something like that. That's what I'm thinking it has to do with. I don't think it's, like, literal. I think it's to do with the will of D. But hell, given One Piece theories, that's probably, like, the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, you had people thinking, you had, like, a large amount of people thinking that Xebec was gonna be a bum like Buggy, which, to me, never made any sense at all, considering we know it took Roger, Garp, and the Holy Knights team up to defeat him. So, I don't get why people thought he was gonna be a bum, but a lot of people did. But continuing on with the chapter, we also see that King Harold is there. And King Harold was there for negotiation purposes on Mary Geoise, but he's getting blamed for all the things that Xebec are doing right now. They think that this tall-ass, ancient, giant-looking motherfucker is the one who killed all the 5 kings. The guards are thinking that, you know, this is the dude to pull up on IMU, possibly. I don't really know if they know that IMU exists, but maybe they're thinking that. I don't know. But during this cloud, during he's like running away, he bumps into Xebec, and he's like, oh, this is the dude who I'm getting blamed for. And they have a hockey clash, and this hockey clash is insane. It is the craziest hockey clash we've seen since Roger versus Whitebeard. Their blades don't even touch. It knocked out everyone within a 5-kilometer radius. This is possibly one of the craziest, not even possibly, it is one of the top 3 craziest hockey showings we have seen in all of One Piece. And mind you, that isn't just Xebec hype. That's also King Harold hype. That means that King Harold has Conqueror's hockey on par with all these big-name dudes. Like, that's insane. And mind you, we go down to the next page, He jumps off of the red line. He's making Loki jumping off of the God Tree and Kaido jumping off of the Sky Island look like me doing this. Boom. That's legit all it looks like. He jumped off the fucking red line. This is just straight aura farming, this chapter. But mind you, do you see that little box there in the bottom left corner? Yeah, Rocks had taken down a Navy admiral. They just throw that out there. That, during this whole commotion, he fucking killed an admiral. What? He killed a fucking admiral. This is the first time in One Piece canon that we know of an admiral getting killed. And it's just put in a little box. Like this is just like a side feat for him. Him clashing with Harold and pulling up on IMU, all that stuff. Yeah, that's the main meat and bones. Him killing an admiral, that's just like a side feat for Xebec. That's, dude, I don't even know what to say. Like, that is just crazy. He killed a fucking admiral. Like, imagine if Luffy had killed Aokiji when they first met. How unbelievably crazy that would have been. And Luffy was already pretty known at that point. Xebec isn't known, I don't think at least, and killed an admiral. Insane. But continuing on, people who invested in Foxy stocks, shit, you've well made your money. Because we find out that Xebec made his crew by Davy back fights. And, you know, a lot of people actually did think this. Like, this was actually like a very common theory that he acquired all these people through Davy back fights. I mean, he had Cheeky, he had Marlin, he had Whitebeard, he had Stussy, tons of other crazy people too. Captain Jack, Kaido, Big Mom, you know. People didn't think he just got them, like, you know, naturally by, like, you know, befriending them, of course, because we see that they don't really get along that much. So a lot of people thought he acquired them through Davy back fights, and, well, coming to find out, he did. But what's crazy about that is having that confirmed, that the strongest pirate group in history was formed from Davy back fights, is kind of funny, because, well, for one, it just is funny that they were made. Like, imagine just Kaido and Big Mom, like, doing little funny games, like swimming, doing races, I don't know. That's just funny. But that one of the most hated arcs in One Piece, Long Ring Land arc, is now, like, super important. Pretty fucking hilarious. And then the chapter ends with Xebec and Harold finally meeting again after all these years, and he asks him to join his crew to take over the world with him. Harold is refusing, saying, Elbaf isn't like this anymore. That's in the past. We're, like, nice, civilized people now. But Loki is in the back eavesdropping, getting super happy hearing this. His, like, worldview is changing, hoping, well, we know he wanted to join Xebec later on, so this is the beginning of him realizing, like, damn, I low-key want to join Xebec. With that, the chapter then ends off with the Rocks Pirates finally being formed and setting sail, causing havoc throughout the whole world. So yeah, with that, what the fuck? What the fuck was that chapter? Xebec is him. I mean, there should be no doubts in anyone's mind now that Xebec is 100%, like, top one pirate besides, like, Joy Boy. Like, he is definitively him. I mean, he pulls up on IMU and probably knows the history, the Will of D and all that stuff. He's just unstoppable. I hope, I'm not even just gonna hope, we're probably gonna get the God Valley flashback very soon, and I gotta see how that ends up, because dude, I don't even know what else to say. Insane chapter. With that, I really have nothing else to add. I already talked about the Davy Jonesian Will of D theory from it. Yeah, I mean, that basically wraps up this video. Xebec is him. Anyone who doubted Xebec, I mean, shit, you've been shut up now, I guess. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.